today I want to talk about how to get yourself out of a rut. However long it's been, whether it's been a couple of weeks, a couple of months, hell, even a couple of years. So many guys these days are struggling to find their footing in life, to build security, to build confidence, and just to live a life that they are proud of. Okay, not say it's without challenges, but a life that they want to live. So being down in the dumps, maybe you've not necessarily hit rock bottom, but you are kind of just rotting in mediocrity, okay, knowing that there's more in life, or you are stuck in self-sabotaging behavior patterns, always screwing yourself over by doing the repeated things, whether it's a drug addiction or you're getting into toxic relationships, etc. Now, I've been there countless times. I know how heavy it can be. And what I'm going to share with you in this video are just some key elements that are necessary to help elevate you to a better life situation. Okay. Now, then in no particular order, I'm sure depending on your personality, your lifestyle, and your goals, there could be a way to stack these, order these, to make a really individualized blueprint. All right. So you're going to have to do a little thinking on that one. But nevertheless, I'm going to give you the 9 things which have really helped me over the years to get out of those ruts. All right. And just to start getting the snowball rolling, okay, towards the life I want to live. All right. To living a positive life that I'm proud of. Okay. So enough with the preamble, let's jump into it. All right, the first one, and perhaps this could be a foundational element, is mindset. You're not going to get far in life if you have the wrong mindset. Okay, I've fallen foul to this many times where I've had a pessimistic victim mentality, and my girlfriend had called me out on it countless times, okay? But my ego loves a bit of resistance, and it's always been a little bit difficult for me to build that muscle. But nevertheless, know that this is foundational. Okay, so what is a good mindset? Well, ultimately, a good mindset is growth orientated. You see challenges and failures as an opportunity to grow. All right, you are solution orientated rather than just focusing on the problem. Now, having a healthy mindset isn't the same thing as positive thinking. Okay, I think a lot of positive thinking can just be toxic and bypassing some realities in life, especially one's own limitations and shadows. Okay, this is something called spiritual bypassing. So I'm not talking about positive thinking. I'm talking about growth-orientated, solution-orientated mindset. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is self-respect. This could also be a foundational element needed for getting yourself out of a rut. But self-respect is basically the relationship you have to yourself. All right. You are not someone who talks shit about yourself. Okay. You treat yourself with compassion, with kindness, and part of that is also not letting yourself get away with destructive, self-sabotaging behaviors. Okay, so someone with self-respect has, healthy routines. Okay, they know what their vices are and they indulge in them in moderation. Okay, they hang out with the right people. Okay, they have their priorities in check. They know their values and principles, etc., and they don't sacrifice on the things which matter to them. They have standards and they don't sacrifice on them. One way to see if you have self-respect is just to check how you talk about yourself. I think I picked this up from a Joe Rogan podcast years ago, but self-talk is everything, all right? You can't be self-denigrating, okay? You can't have derogatory self-talk. Hold your self-respect. Have your internal monologue be like it would be to a dear friend, okay? A dear friend who's going through a crisis, all right? You're going to support them, you're going to encourage them, and you're going to hear them out, all right? You're going to have compassion. All right, these are hallmarks of self-respect. Okay, another essential aspect of getting out of a rut is developing a vision. Okay, you need to have a clear vision of your life, who you want to be, because without that, you've actually got no direction to move in, all right? You'll be lost. And that's probably actually the reason why you're in a rut in the first place, is because you don't have a clear vision for your life, who you want to become. And what's essential for having a clear vision is knowing, first and foremost, your principles and values that you want to live by, okay? And then the priorities, okay? Because for sure, we've all got a multitude of desires and wants, aspirations, etc. But you need to see what things are the most important, okay? And actually, at the end of the day, the older you get, the less and less things that should be on that list, okay? Because time is in a limited supply, all right? So to live a good life actually is figuring out what is the most important thing and putting all of your energy into it, okay? Maybe some other things spring out the side, and that's, some positive takeaways, but really getting clear on your life vision, what's the most important thing, and knowing that the most important thing is to keep that thing your priority. And once you have a vision for your life, you want to then create some goals, whether it's the classic 5-10-year goals, or whether it's just yearly goals or quarterly goals, or the whole lot of it. Have goals and then break those goals down into milestones, maybe 3 to 5 milestones per goal. And then you want to be scheduling that in, all right? Because your aspirations, your goals are not going to manifest unless you actually start doing the necessary actions, which is conducive for that goal, okay? So it's great to be a dreamer, aspire to all you want in life, but unless that is translated into actionable steps, and then you have the discipline to follow through on these actionable steps on a consistent basis, it's never going to happen, all right? And I've been in this so many times of having wild aspirations and letting them fall by the wayside because I didn't have the structure and the discipline, all right? Because you really want to structure this in. Create systems in your to-do list, in your weekly schedule that's going to gear you up for success. It's going to make it easy to follow through on these actionable things, all right? So really get a good task management system where you can plug things in and it breaks it down into actionable steps. This was massively transformational for me. Now, the other aspect that is crucial for getting out of a rut, coming forward in life, is actually intentionality. So you can have the clearest vision and you can structure it perfectly and create up all the systems, but there needs to be some kind of emotional intent behind it. Okay, Simon Sinek talks about your why. Okay, start with your why. And I really believe this is relevant because it's this heartfelt emotionality, okay, which is going to help you confront challenges, to get through the hard parts, all right, without giving up, all right? You need an intention, because if you don't have an intention, you just set out a goal kind of mindlessly, it's like, well, what's the relevance? What's the significance? Why do it? Why bother making sacrifices? Okay, but if you have really been through shit and you are aware that life's meaning is about creating meaning, you're going to move through it with more intention. All right, you can feel a man who moves through the world with intentionality and someone who doesn't. And what I invite you to do is actually get really micro with this and really macro. All right, so your bigger yearly, 5-yearly goals, be intentional around that, but also just like every little habit you're carrying out, every action you do it with intention. Do it the best you can possibly do, all right? Just be cognizant of why you are doing things, okay? So now we're all prey to these things, our smartphones, social media, infinite scrolling, all of this stuff. How intentional are you when you are doing that, all right? How intentional are you when you are eating your food? So this is just a bit of a thought play, okay? But this boils down to self-awareness, becoming aware of your motives, your habits. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is self-sufficiency. Self-sufficiency can look like financial independence, not being reliant on other people for financial support or housing you, etc. Now, of course, maybe if you are in that situation, don't worry, I've been there, it's okay, but really let that be one of your primary goals. Okay, if you've ever heard about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, foundational level is that stability, that security. But self-sufficiency is also about not needing other people to validate you or make you feel good about yourself. All right, and this is particularly important when you are in relationships or you're dating people, because if you aren't self-sufficient, you become needy. You become needy for approval, validation, other people to make you feel good. And it's not a nice energy. It's not attractive. All right. So beyond just being self-sufficient on a resource level, you need to be self-sufficient on an emotional level. You need to get comfortable being by yourself. Not say you need to be by yourself, okay? Having emotional connections and deep relationships is a beautiful part of life that you need to make space for if you want to live your best life. But in order to have that, to have those great relationships, you do need to develop a certain level of self-sufficiency, all right? Robustness. And the next thing I want to talk about is discernment, okay? We live in a world full of distractions, all right? Discernment is going to let you identify the bullshit. It's going to let you be able to see between what's a real opportunity and what is just a distraction, okay? This also relates to people, okay, who are fake people, who are worth your time, who are going to be an asset in your life, okay? So you're not going to waste your energy, because if you are down in the dumps, if you're in a rut, you're going to have to be really careful with how you're spending your energy. You need to focus on yourself, okay? Discernment's going to help you with this, all right? So don't get caught up in stupid relationships, all right? Or falling into habits and patterns and activities which aren't serving your greatest good, all right? Having discernment is also going to help you make decisions which are aligned with your highest values, with the life that you really want to create for yourself, okay? So don't underestimate discernment. I see today people are so easily influenced, okay? There's a lot of fraud out there, there's a lot of gimmicks, and this is something which is just going to help you feel more confident about yourself, all right? Rather than being a yes man the whole time, you actually have a bias towards saying no to things, and you are discerning to see whether this opportunity or this person or this invitation is really aligned with your values, with your standards. So you're more geared towards saying no. All right. And only if it meets standards can you make space for that thing in your life. This is a very, very empowering trait. Do not overlook it. The next thing which is related to that is setting boundaries. Actually, not just setting boundaries, but upholding boundaries. Okay. So again, you know what your standards are, you know where your energy needs to be invested, and you have this capacity to say no to things. Yeah. Or in relationships, if someone is overgoing your boundaries, okay, you let them know, and you let them know that you will enforce them. And then if they have continued to do that on the second, third time, I would really question whether you want to go over 3-time allowance. You then enforce it, all right? Maybe you withdraw from someone, or you limit your access. However it is, perhaps you even need to cut people off completely. I have sadly had to do this in my life due to boundary crossing. But again, you become someone who is unfuckable with when you assert strong boundaries. Now, just a caveat, strong boundaries do not have to be excluding, all right? Good boundaries are there to foster healthier relationships, so you can be with someone, all right, and your sovereignty isn't encroached upon. Do understand that, okay? Too strong a boundaries can be excluding. You'll end up in isolation and not being able to have the support of anyone. That is also not good. So the next thing, again, this is kind of relating to what I've been talking about, is surrounding yourself with supportive peers. All right, people who are supporting you in the person you want to become, all right, who believe in you, okay, who can inspire you, who can motivate you, and who can also just listen to you, all right, being in whatever phase of life you're in. If you're here listening to the video and you're in a rut, you need to get out of it. Find people who aren't going to judge you for that, who are going to lift you up, all right, but who are also not going to minimize and dismiss what you're going through. And be discerning with the habits and the activities your peers partake in, and just be aware whether they are helpful for where you're going in life. Okay? So you guessed it, this is tied into the discernment, setting boundaries thing. This is all around energy expenditure, because when you're in the dumps, what's most important is how you safeguard and channel your energy. Which brings me on to the last thing, and this is something I am quick to share with men, especially around the coaching I do and in the men's groups I hold, is safeguarding your sexual energy. You know, if you've been in the manosphere on the internet, no doubt you've heard about semen retention, all of this, but this is so true. This is so real. This has been possibly the single most transformative practice in my life to date. So rather than going on adult websites and jacking off the whole time and losing your energy, you safeguard that. You need to understand every time you ejaculate, you do lose your seed, you leak your energy. And if you are doing this chronically several times a day or just daily, you are going to be depleted. You know, this both hormonally, but also on an energetic level, okay? If you let that stuff build up, all right, you're gonna have so much more energy to put into the things which are necessary to do, all right, to follow through on your plan, to create, follow through on your vision for life, rather than getting depleted, distracted, easily influenced. All of this stuff is actually a downward spiral, all right? So I really, really recommend doing this. Do it smart, okay? Don't be too militant about it. But safeguarding your sexual energy is going to be crucial if you want to transform your life, okay? Thank you very much for watching another video. I hope you found this helpful. Please let me know your thoughts below in the comments. Let me know what you have found helpful getting yourself out of a rut. And if you liked the video, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe and hit the bell notification icon as well. Thank you very much.